Welcome to Fort Vancouver National Historical Site. This fall, we're unable to hold this event safely, so we've put a group of our volunteers together to film a series of Park After Dark videos, so you can learn more about people and places at Fort Vancouver. As we move into autumn, we hope you join us for this cozy evening. Fort Vancouver is a diverse community that includes Hudson's Bay Company officers, company employees, and their families. From 1825 to the mid-19th century, Fort Vancouver was regional headquarters of the Hudson's Bay Company's Columbia Department. In the 1840s, this became an important stop on the Oregon Trail. 1845 was an important year for Fort Vancouver, and it was an important year for the National Park Service. The fort you see today is a reconstruction built on the archaeological footprint of the original, which stood here until it burnt down in the 1860s. When the National Park Service began the reconstruction in the late 1960s, they decided to recreate the fort as it appeared in 1845. But why 1845? 1845 was a year of great change for this community. When Fort Vancouver was built 20 years earlier, this territory was home to indigenous people, tribes, and nations. British trading posts like Fort Vancouver dotted the landscape. The 1830s had waves of disease due to the increasing presence of trappers and settlers. By the 1840s, missionaries and American immigrants were crossing the Oregon Trail. These American immigrants formed a new government south of the Columbia River and challenged the Hudson's Bay Company's influence in the Northwest. At the same time, fur demand in Europe was on a decline, and the Hudson's Bay Company focused its attention to agricultural production. 1845 was an exciting time to be an American in the Pacific Northwest. Also, a challenging time to be a Hudson's Bay Company employee. It was also a time of threat for Native American people, as their lives would change forever. In this episode, we're going to visit the counting house, which was originally built as a new office for the company clerks. However, it was also used as a temporary home to the commander of the HMS Modeste.
Hi, my name is Matt Delamata. Some of you have probably seen me inside of the blacksmith shop. Well, today, I'm not in the blacksmith shop. I'm actually in the counting house. They have me dressed as Captain Thomas Bailey. Now, Captain Thomas Bailey, he was in charge of the HMS Modeste. They arrived here in the fall of 1845 and left in the spring of 1847. Part of the reason that we were here was to ensure that the Americans knew that Great Britain also held interest in this land. One of the other things that occurred while we were here is me and my crew, we became kind of ambassadors to the area. We cultivated a lot of, how you might put it, were good relationships with the Americans. One of the biggest things that was done here on a regular event was there were plays held continuously within these very walls. On more than one occasion, gentlemen and the ladies of the fort would arrive here to dance. I enjoyed a lot of the company and the dancing as well. One of the points of contention of my arrival here, though, in 1845, believe it or not, came from some of the clerks that worked here at Fort Vancouver. This building had been reconstructed and built to replace the old counting house. Now, unfortunately for them, when I arrived, this was made my residence. So, I did as much as I could to make sure that the clerks knew that I still cared about them and felt bad for their situation. But in secret, I really enjoyed being in here, because it was a lot better than being stuck on a ship. One fun fact about the HMS Modeste, my ship, which is an 18-gun sloop from the British Navy, is it got stuck in the Columbia River when it froze solid in 1846. Just so happened we also did a first curling match out there against the Royal Navy versus the Hudson's Bay Company. I do believe the Hudson's Bay Company won that match, but only because we let them. Made it. I brought you into my chambers. It's a little more quiet in here. A lot less prying eyes and ears. I received word from a friend of mine from another vessel. Apparently, the HMS America arrived here in 1845. Had spies on it. Yeah. Now, what they were doing here, I'm not entirely sure. However, I also heard that Thomas Lowe is vying for Miss Putnam. Now, I bring up Thomas Lowe because Thomas Lowe kept journals his whole tenure here at Fort Vancouver. While he was here, he kept great detailed records. One of the records that I read that I actually personally enjoyed the best was during a high storm, when one of the sections of the wall fell over. Just rotted right out from the base and fell over. He kept great records, which allow us to actually understand more about the life here at Fort Vancouver. Of the many things that you've learned about in this video series, more information can be found at Fort Vancouver's website, with the link below. One of the most annoying things about this uniform, believe it or not, for me as a volunteer here, is the hat. It is a fancy hat, I do like the hat, but every so often these, called acorns, fall out. And then I have to put the hat back on and walk around with them flying all over the place. It's not fun.